To make delicious homemade frosting, you only need 4 things: butter, powdered sugar, vanilla extract, and milk. The amounts of each of these that you need will depend on how much frosting you would like to make. I'm going to show you how much I yielded using the amounts that I am using in my video. But if you would like to make more than that, then all you need to do is double the measurements, or even triple them if you want to make a lot more. You will need confectioner's sugar, also known as powdered sugar, for this recipe. If you do not have powdered sugar on hand, then you can make your own using granulated sugar and cornstarch. The ratio to use is 1 cup granulated sugar to 1 tablespoon cornstarch. You can combine them in a high-powered blender like a food processor, a Vitamix, or a spice grinder, and let it run until you have a soft, powdery consistency. It will take several minutes, and longer if your machine is less powerful, but it will get you powdered sugar. Just make sure you let it rest and sit for a little bit before you open up the lid, because it will poof in your face. Here is the amount of frosting that I yielded using the measurements that I am giving you in this video. Remember to double the measurements if you want to make more. Using a KitchenAid mixer like the one shown is the best option, but you can also do this using a less powerful mixer. It will just take more time. This is the whisk attachment, and that's the one you want to use for this. For best results, use butter that is between 60 and 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Cut up the butter and set it aside. Then get your powdered sugar ready. I'm using 2 cups for the amount that I'm making here. You might like to make more. Measure out your 2 cups and put it into a bowl. Because I'm taking my powdered sugar from a small canister, I'm just using a smaller scoop to get it out and then put it into my 1 cup scoop. You might find that working with powdered sugar is a little bit messy. Next, you're going to measure the milk. I'm using 1 teaspoon to pour the milk in and then put it into my KitchenAid stand mixer mixing bowl. Now it's time to measure our vanilla extract. I'm going to measure 1 teaspoon and a 1/2 teaspoon because I want 1.5 total teaspoons of vanilla extract. And I'm going to add that to my milk. Yes, I did spill a little bit. There is a drop in my powdered sugar now, but it's all going to the same place, so I'm not too worried about it. Now we are going to add the butter to this milk and vanilla mix, just to be able to mix up the butter a little bit before we add the powdered sugar. First, you'll want to make sure that your KitchenAid is locked, and then you can turn it on. Start with a lower speed and gradually raise it up a little bit at a time to just get a little pre-mix going. You don't need to do this for very long. Next, you can turn it off, unlock it, and then remove the butter from the whisk, get it back into the bowl, and you're going to add the powdered sugar next. Now, something I didn't think about while filming this was that if you remove the whisk attachment, it is much easier to add the powdered sugar. Now, I'm here struggling and having to work around it, but I would recommend that you just temporarily remove the whisk attachment so that you can make your life a bit easier. You can just put that attachment right back on once the powdered sugar is in the bowl. All right, now it's time to lock it back in and get started with mixing it all together. Make sure you start at a slow speed so that you don't get a big poof of powdered sugar, but work your way up to a high speed. I have increased the speed on some of this video footage, so if you think it seems like it's going really fast, that's why. You will notice the texture change and it will look kind of clumpy, and that is good. You want to see the clumpiness first and then it will begin to smooth out. When you start to see it smoothing out at that higher speed of mixing, then get a timer ready because you're going to want to set it for 5 minutes. You're going to want to keep this mixing for 5 minutes minimum, but you will pause and turn it off a few times during that process just to scrape the sides of the bowl, but then get it right back up to speed and going again, and keep this up for 5 minutes minimum. All of this whipping is just incorporating air into the frosting, and that is what gives it its fluffiness. So keep it going, keep it up. We want fluffy, cloud-like texture. My 5-minute timer went off, so now I am going to check my frosting. Ooh, it's already looking so fluffy. You can see the air incorporated into it. It still looks a little bit dull or matte finish, and we want to keep it going until it starts to look a little bit more shiny. So it's a great start, but I think it needs more mixing. Give it a few more minutes of mixing and then stop and scrape the sides down and scrape everything out of the whisk attachment and then mix it again and repeat this as many times as you feel necessary until you start to see a little bit more of a shine. In the end, you want it to be this really nice whipped consistency. I like to keep it simple and just spread my frosting on, but you could also use a piping bag if you would like to make some really neat designs on the top of your cake. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had a lot of fun, and I hope you made yourself a really yummy treat. Bye!